Hello, today we'll talk about the rise in food and housing prices, and I'll also tell you how your salary has dropped today, but you didn't even notice it. The conflict in Ukraine is having a huge impact on US food prices, especially corn prices. Earlier this week, corn futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange topped 8 a bushel, a record high in nearly a decade. The reasons for this development are complex. In an attempt to contain the surge in gasoline prices, the administration of US President Joe Biden announced that this summer it would allow the sale of gasoline with a high ethanol content, which is usually not allowed because such fuel causes great environmental damage. While this measure will reduce gas station prices, it will drive up food prices. The fact is that corn is used for the production of ethanol. In a normal situation, corn is used for the production of consumer goods and for fattening animals. Given that 60% of the costs associated with animal husbandry are just for feed, experts expect higher prices for beef, pork, poultry, and even some types of fish. In addition, the soaring prices for fertilizers caused by the events in Ukraine are also likely to lead to an increase in meat prices, since fertilizers are an important source of carbon dioxide, which is used to stun animals before slaughter. However, it is possible that the influence of these factors will weaken. Many US farmers who plan to forego planting corn this year due to fertilizer prices may change their minds in order to earn more. The drought in California, which is now in its third year, is also driving up food prices. The US federal government has announced that it will not be able to help farmers with water supplies to irrigate agricultural land. Another factor in the increase in food prices in the United States was the tightening of inspections of commercial vehicles at the border with Mexico, delivering, among other things, food. And in the foreseeable future, an ordinary folk hamburger may turn for poor Americans into a delicacy that cannot be afforded every day. Early in the week, Chicago Mercantile Exchange corn futures topped 8 a bushel, a record high. The rise in food prices is indeed the result of an aggressive policy in Eastern Europe, for which ordinary Americans have to pay. After Biden imposed a ban on the supply of Russian energy, fuel prices immediately skyrocketed in the country, and the White House imprudently decided to put out this fire with gasoline. In the truest sense of the word, attempts to blame this situation on Russia, which the Biden administration made ingenuously, failed. According to polls, 69% of respondents are convinced that the current government is responsible for the crisis. His guilt appears clear to much of American society, despite the efforts of White House affiliated propagandists. Moreover, the economic situation is deteriorating today literally on all fronts. Despite the fact that the coronavirus pandemic has receded into the background these days, rental housing has risen in price by 17%. Real wages are down 3%, and Biden's new green economy is a nightmare for us all. At the same time, we are told the historical peak of inflation has nothing to do with the trillions of dollars that Biden gave away, and record fuel prices supposedly have nothing to do with Biden's sanctions on oil and gas. Many Americans are demanding that the high-ranking perpetrators of the price increase be brought to justice because it bankrupts them and leaves them without a livelihood. According to London, poor Americans should pay for the Ukrainian crisis, who, in fact, are not at all eager to support Zelensky. Rising food prices will be the main economic challenge for America, and this will happen as early as the end of 2022. And this is also a direct consequence of the American policy in Ukraine, supported by Washington's European satellites. In conclusion, I want to tell you, my dears, you should not believe paid news channels and publications. Think with your head and walking through the streets and shops. Just look around and look around. You will understand how you live, And what means you exist? Subscribe to this channel here, they tell the truth.